then like if you have someone like that's above you, it makes them look powerful, and then below you makes them look innocent.
That's awesome. That's a good idea. It's like a really good way to use your camera angle to say something about the subject. Anybody else? What do you guys like about photography?
I like it because you get to have other people see through your eyes.
Mm-hmm. So you kind of get to say what you're seeing and show other people. Anybody else have any ideas or any thoughts about photography in general? What's your favorite thing to shoot?
I like shooting like people.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I like shooting like unique objects, like ones you wouldn't really see.
Cool. That's what I like. Crystalyn shoots people, and I like shooting objects, so that's perfect. Yeah.
I like doing sunsets.
Sunsets, yeah. Let's do a few sunsets. We'll show you.
I like doing
Flowers. Yeah. That's always so cool. Anybody else have anything? Well,
What do you guys use to take pictures?
use your phone and cameras. Yeah.
I have camera, but I probably take more pictures on my phone. Just
Me
I don't
too, to be
carry
honest.
my camera with me everywhere.
Yeah.
Always
The best
have your
camera is
phone.
whatever one you have with you. That's what you're going to use. Do most of you guys use your phones? Yeah. I mean, your phone takes pretty good photos. If that's what you have, then that's what you're going to use. So that's great. And we'll show you some ways that you can like get better photos with your phone too. I'm going to close the store just to quiet.
Do you guys have anything specific that you're interested in learning today? Or are you just curious?
What did you like if you chose a photography class? What did you expect? Like,
just making pictures more full of depth and like more than just one subject, but still having that really focus. If
Cool.
that makes sense.
yeah. And if you guys just want to like say stuff, you can. I don't have to call on you if you just want to say something. Yeah.
At first, I thought it was like having these things like slow motion, like on phones. So I don't know a lot
Yeah.
about making like these videos. So
Well, I think they have a videography class coming too. That would be fun. We'll check through that. But yeah, we can cover some of that stuff and also do things that we have prepared for you. And you all have anything else on this? Okay. Well, we'll just introduce ourselves and say a little bit about our photography experience. And I'm Veronica, and I studied photography at BYU, and then I moved to New York. So I live in New York, but I'm back this week for a photography job. And so I do freelance photography, and I mostly do still life. So that's more of like the objects that I was talking about, or food, or like interiors, stuff like that. So not as much people. This one.
And I'm Crystalyn, and I wanted to study photography when I was at BYU, but I felt like I needed to study something that I could just go out and get a job in. So I became a school teacher, and then years later, I had 4 children. And when I had my first child, my husband knew that I really loved taking pictures, so he gave me a camera. And I was working at the community college, so I took some photography classes there, and then found a photographer that I really liked, and I mentored with her in California. So that's something you guys can do too. If you really like somebody's work, ask them questions and reach out to them. So, and I shoot mostly people, and I try to photograph my children. I photograph families and people.
So, this is just a quote I want to start off with by RubyGirl.org. The desire to create is one of the deepest yearnings of the human soul. And I'm sure you guys have felt that if you're in this class and you like writing and photographing and, you know, just making something of you to yourself it's a godlike quality, and it's one of our deepest desires. So that's why it's so satisfying and so, you know, so pleasing to create beauty. But first we want to say, these are some of our photos, and everyone makes mistakes. You know, these aren't that great, even though we're professionals, these might not, you know, these aren't really
So now I figure out the way that we want them.
Yeah. As you can see, subject line focus,
press start again.
dark,
Okay.
bright, and that happens. And so that's okay if that happens to you guys too, because it still happens to us. So we're gonna go through, even though we also make mistakes, we're gonna go through and say a few mistakes and maybe a few tips of like how to remedy those and ways to get the photographs that you might want. So mistake number 1 is ignoring the light.
And these are all mistakes as we were practicing this. These are all mistakes that we've made, and I still make them. I probably made them in the last week. So that's just, but these are things that we try to think about when we're shooting. So the thing that makes a photograph there, we're going to be talking about some things that we feel like make photographs really beautiful. And the biggest thing is light, right? If there's no light, you can't really photograph anything. And similar to our lives, right? We need light. We need the light of Christ in our lives, and that's what makes our lives beautiful. So tell me what you guys think about, or what you think about this picture. What comes to mind when you look at it? Besides that's my daughter. She's so cute. That's, okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I like the shadows, like how you can see the chair's shadow behind it. It's cool.
And when I started photographing, I was really nervous to work with shadows. And I just wanted everything to be this pretty, bright light. But I realized that, like you asked about depth in photographs, and light is one of the main ways to achieve that. So I started realizing that my pictures looked really flat because they all were evenly lit from the front. And so there was, for me, a lack of interest in some of those photos. And so that's one of the things that I like about that picture is that the light, it's very similar to this setup right here. Like if you look on this black wall, you can see the shadow of the lines coming in. That's exactly what you're seeing over here. So I just put my little girl on her kitchen chair right next to the window, and you can see that there's not a lot of light over here, but she's being lit from here, and there's the shadow of the chair. And so this is something that I'm still working on all the time, is finding ways to incorporate like what the light really is, and not just looking for these flat light situations, which also can be very pretty. That kind of light can be pretty too. But in our lives, we have light and dark, and as this learning photography has actually made me think a lot about life in general and the gospel, because I realized that I was wanting to shoot all these perfect photographs and have just have them all be light and beautiful. And I realized, you know what, that's not what life is like. And sometimes we have a lot of adversity in our life, or we have things that don't go the way that we want, or they're hard. And I found that some of my favorite photographs and photographs that I'm drawn to the most are pictures that really have light and dark. And that is our lives, right? We have light and we have adversity. So not to be so afraid of that adversity or the dark or the shadows, because that is just part of life and what makes it beautiful and what makes pretty pictures. So both of us mostly shoot with natural light. And a big thing to remember about that is turn your lights off. So sometimes I'll go in, I was meeting with a client last week, and we're going to shoot some pictures of her baby in her nursery, and it's kind of a darker room. And she was like, we can just turn on all these lights. And I was like, no, we can't. So when you have different things like that, you're going to change the direction of the light, and you're going to change the color of the light, and your pictures are going to look, they're not going to look as clean.
Like I'm sure you guys know, so you take a picture at night. The light's not that pretty because it's just all these overheads that are really yellow or maybe green or like weird color shadows, color cast. And so ideally the best lighting that will make like a beautiful photo like this is just from a window, or if you're outside. Like this wouldn't be the same, it shouldn't have this nice window light coming in.
And there was a kitchen light right above that I made sure to turn off before. I actually shot a few before everyone was turned it off. Those ones to turn out. And they can also cast funny shadows on your faces. So that's something to remember, is just turn those lights out. And then my preference for shooting is like very first thing in the morning, or just like an hour before sunset. So golden hours. And we'll show you some examples. That light is so beautiful. And part of the reason is, if we were to go stand outside right now and take some pictures just in the sunlight, what's going to happen? What do you think? So the light is right here. And so have you guys seen those pictures where everybody's smiling and so cute, and then they have these really black circles and you can't see their eyes? That's because of where the light is. So, so you just want to move and watch that. Like, you can use your hands and move that. You can see where the shadows will fall, or practice with somebody and just move them and watch their face as you kind of turn them around. You can see how the light will fall and what it's doing. But in the early morning or in the late evening, the sun isn't above. It's low on the horizon. So you get really pretty colors, and also the light is softer, and you don't get as many funny shadows. So if we were to shoot outside right now in the middle of the day, we would be looking for shade. And this area right here even is shaded. That light's coming in. But if you look for shade, then you have a more evenly lit. You don't get those you'll recognize. And light makes the shot. So here. So this is a picture of kind of that golden hour light, where you can get that kind of highlight. Do you guys like those pictures when you have like that little room lighting? That's golden hour light, where the sun is kind of behind, or it's light from the side, and it's just a softer light. Do you guys that? So here's another of light and dark, and it really makes pictures so pretty. And you can choose how to expose. We'll talk a little bit about this towards the end. But if you were to expose, like for the people there, then you kind of miss out on all of the sunset, right? Because you can't photograph that whole range of light. So, and then there's a quote that says, keep your face towards the sunshine and shadows will fall behind you. So just our tip would be to practice light, just practice looking at how light falls on things and taking pictures and what that ends up looking. Sometimes I think that I can read the light, but not until I take a picture can I really see how it's going to affect it. And just focus on the light. When I meter, I focus on the light and let the shadows fall where they may. And we think that doing that in your life is the best too, right? To focus on the light in your life and let that adversity and whatever's going on, let that fall where it may, but the light will always guide you in what you have going on. In order for the light to shine so brightly, the darkness must be present.
Yeah, so contrast will just make the photos more interesting, and it will make the light parts more beautiful to have the dark. So yeah, another mistake that we're going to address is a cluttered composition, which, that happens easily. There's like a lot going on where you're taking your photo, and then afterwards you're like, oh, I wish that wasn't there, I wish that wasn't there, that looks bad. Or, you try to set up a little shot and you don't know how to compose it and organize it. So we have a few tips to focus and simplify your shots. First, focus and simplify. So first is to take a step closer. So, let's say you want a shot of Maggie right here, and I take this whole shot, but it's got everyone else behind it, and I really just want a shot of Maggie. So, if you take a step closer, you would just get a tighter frame, kind of see what your subject is, cuts out some distractions like the windows that would be there and the blinds, and so like this shot, it might be cropping out a little bit of the edges, but it makes it more interesting to have the pattern, like the repeat, uptight on the texture and colors. So color choice is another thing, and even if you have, I'll show you on the next slide, even if you have a lot going on, like you're talking about how to get depth in your photos, even like you said something about the subject, right? Like what did you say if you want?
It's just like more than one just making that the clear spot with stuff.
with other stuff going on. Okay, yeah, so that's like a good way to do that would be with your colors, because let's say you want a ton of things in the shot, and you go on to one thing to stand out. If you make that a color that just grabs your eye, or if you make all the colors like go well together, it won't look as chaotic. So I'll show you something on the next slide. But yeah, also focus, and on your phones you can control this with some apps, but on your camera, if you focus, obviously like wherever your focus point is, that's where the eye is going to go. And also in life, it's always best to focus on what's most important and cut out the distractions and the clutter that just might be making it harder to narrow in on what you really want to care about most. So yes, pay attention to the backgrounds. Oftentimes I'll just like move around a little bit. If you just take a step a different way, you might get a totally different background that works better for your shot. Or like if there is something in the way, if you just change it, move yourself just tiny bit over, you move, like it'll change a lot. So seeing the outside of the picture.
An example, like if Veronica was standing right here, see this line behind her? So she would look like she had this thing coming out, right? So if you're standing right there, and a way to prevent that would just be to move over a little bit, and then you would have this behind her instead. So kind of paying attention to those things that would distract would be the way to do that.
Yeah.
Or move her over a little bit.
Yeah. And it's crazy, like when you see on photo shoots that I'm working on, like when you see everything around the shot, like we might be taking I do a lot of food, so like let's say it's like some plates on a table. Everything around the shot is kind of chaos. Like if you saw behind the scenes, I should have shown you one, but it's like getting closer to what you actually want to be seeing, and then it cuts out the rest of the distractions. And so rule of thirds is something that we want to draw. I can draw. Okay. Rule of thirds. How many of you have heard of that? You want to say what it is?
Well, I'm not we learned a little bit about it in art, so I'm not super confident, but it's like the picture is split into thirds, and so you want the subjects you don't want it all in the exact center. You kind of want it to go through two of the lines on it, so then it will just look more interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of just like, so here you divide your square up or your rectangle up into thirds, and these little circles are where it's kind of like more visually interesting for your eye. Of course, these are just like suggestions. They're not like set rules. If you want to center something, you totally can. It's just kind of like a way to make it more interesting and visually pleasing.
And if you start paying attention, even like if you watch like an interview or something like that, you start to notice that typically things are filmed or with the people not just dead set in the center.
Yep.
I kind of like sometimes the symmetry of having something in the center if there's nothing distracting behind, but that is a really good way to make your photographs interesting.
And you can see like this is actually a symmetrical shot, but since it's divided into three, it's more interesting because like if there's only two columns, it wouldn't be quite as pleasing. So that's like three odd numbers is something that's nice to keep in mind. Okay, so next, this was a shot that I did. So this is kind of what you're talking about. Like there's more going on, but it's cohesive because of the colors and because you are kind of following like it's not just like a bunch of stuff in the middle. It has these nice outer edges, like that's kind of a third, that's kind of a third.
And like the reds are in those spots with the rule of thirds, you can see. And there's also, if you go back to the light, you can see where the light is lighting some of these, and you can see the shadows fall from the other piece instead of just having the light on top and it would look all flat.
And if you guys ever have any questions, just tell us.
Holler.
We won't know it. Yeah, and so that's one thing we want to say is like a photo you take is your creation, so it's not like these are rules you have to follow. It's just a way to experiment and see if you like it, and if you want to start moving around and like, oh yeah, I'm in this middle, I can move my camera over and put this to the side and see how it looks. And so yeah, that's.
And sometimes, somebody told me this and I still forget to do it sometimes, but sometimes you have something set up and you really like it, and so you want to shoot like 10 pictures of it, and you're just shooting 10 pictures of the same thing. But remind yourself to, like when it's set up, take, 2 pictures of it like that and then move yourself. So shoot from the side or walk around or shoot
Or like
from
Natalie was saying,
above
like
or
get
below
up or down.
or something like that. And so you can kind of practice, and that's a way too to be creative and find what you like. And you know, sometimes things surprise you. I feel like I will have an idea in my mind of what I want to shoot, and it doesn't work out that way, but I took a couple of different shots in a different way that I really ended up liking. So move around.
Okay, our mistake number 3 is being like everybody else. What are some cool photography trends that you guys have noticed, or Instagram, you know, filters, or just is there anything that you keep seeing all the time that you're like, this is kind of getting old?
No?
Haley?
I think of that one where people do that like outfit of the day or whatever, where they take the picture down on their feet,
Yeah.
you know, or like of the floor, you know, where they look like.
Yeah, like it's cute, but it's kind of like you've seen it 1,000 times.
A lot of people post the same things to like the same exact, like the same flower over and over again.
Yeah, it's like you have to like a new way to approach it so it looks different. Anybody else have any ideas?
How about the cup of chocolate with something on the top or a plate of dessert or something? Yeah.
Yeah, so like you see the same things. I mean, they're trends because they look cool, but then it just kind of gets repetitive. And if you're just trying to copy something because it's a trend, it's not, you know, it's not really true to what you love. If you love that, then great, do it. But also, like, don't be afraid to try something new if you want to. So this is a few tips for that. So when I went to school at BYU, I really loved still life photography. And so I didn't really like shooting people that much. And a lot of my photos just like had a very distinct style in them, and you could like, my teacher told me one time, he was like, next time in class, so we'd have critiques, like everyone bring their photos, put them up on the board. So next time in class, I want you to bring a photo that I can't tell is yours. We want me to try something new. And of course I brought something in, he was like, that one's yours, I can tell. So on one hand, you should always try something new. But also, if you have something that you love and like something that just makes you excited about photography, then just like go with that and just experiment with that and try doing something that you can stick with and that makes you happy, not something that you think will make other people happy.
Or that will keep you alive.
Exactly. Like if you, I love Instagram, and I remember there was a photo a few months ago, and it was of a sunset. But my followers, I don't know, they don't like sunset pictures as much. So I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get many likes on this one. But I was like, whatever, I don't care. I want to post it. I like this photo. I'm gonna post it. So I stick with what you like, not with what you think will get you likes. And so, yeah, I think chances are if you like something, it's gonna speak to somebody else. So, I mean, when I was in school too, so since I have this like set style that, you know, everyone can recognize as mine, it also made me able to practice that more and just like really refine what I liked to do. And because of that, I think it has made me more successful than some other people who kind of just like followed the trends and like whatever new came along, they would go with that. Like, oh, I love this now. Or like, oh, I love taking pictures of people on railroad tracks. But really, that's because they saw someone do that and thought it was cool. So I think if you stick with what you love and don't be afraid to share that, then it will speak to other people. And I love travel, and I love shopping and design and food, so that's like the things that I get photographed. And Crystalyn loves people and her family, and so she's better at that than I would be because I'm not good at photographing people. So if you find what you're excited about photographing, and just like be okay with not being like everybody else.
So one of the greatest things about photographing is tying it into journaling. And you guys had a great journaling class downstairs. But there are 2 ways to record things that happen to you in your life. And those are through words and pictures. So it's very powerful when you can record with something with both words and pictures. But pictures just have a way of capturing things that we don't even realize that we're capturing, and little details that we always think we're going to remember. and we don't. So even when we were putting things together for this presentation and I was going through pictures of mine, even just 2 years ago when my little girl was 3 instead of 5, I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot how, she's always did this, or just little things like that. And how great for you guys to have a tool, an instrument to be able to do that from now. I have one picture of my mom alone, just by herself, when she was like, I want to say 34, and I found that picture when I was a new mother, and I just felt like I knew my mom in this different way that I'd never known her, because all of a sudden I was close to that age, and I was experiencing things that I thought, you know what, she was probably having all of these same feelings too, and trying to figure things out, and that was so meaningful to me, and I wish I had more. And you guys are going to have this opportunity to have these things put together so that when you are in college, or when you are new moms, or you're moving to New York and working, like you can look back and see these things. So there are a few things that you can use just on your phones to journal. And there are 3 apps that I like to use. One is Chatbooks. Have you guys heard of that? Chatbooks? So Chatbooks is an app. Have you used it?
I haven't used it, but like I know what it is.
Yeah. Check it out, because the thing that I like about that is it's fairly inexpensive, and it's just an app you can have on your phone, and you can connect it to your Instagram feed, or you can just do it through Chatbooks if you don't want to do Instagram. And once you get 60 photos, it automatically prints a book and mails it to you. So you can just put what's important to you, put whatever caption you want, and then when you hit 60 photos, you don't even have to think about it. You're going to get your book in the mail with your little journal of whatever you felt like, and then the next 60 photos, you'll just keep getting these books. They're like 5x5 books. So that is a great and easy way to do it, so you don't have to think about it. And then there are a couple of journaling apps you can use on your phone. And my 13-year-old son does this, which I can't believe it, journals. But he uses the app Day One, and that lets you write. You can put all kinds of things in there. I think you can add music too if you want.
It shows you like the temperature outside, what music you're listening to at that time. So it's really cool to like look back on your journal entries, and then you can like see all this detail about the day.
And you can upload pictures to that journal too. And then the last one that I really like, and I've been using, is called Grid Diary. And I like this one because it's a grid, and it has different prompts in it. You can put whatever prompts you want in there. And so like mine, the ones that they start with is like, what did you do today? What did you accomplish? What are you grateful for? What made you happy? How did you help your friends? So you can put whatever you want in there, and you can add pictures to that too. So those are 3 ways that you can use your pictures and journal and make them meaningful. And I think for me, one thing that I have loved about photography, and also is my challenge, is always trying to find ways to make it meaningful. So you can, we can take 100 pictures probably in here right now in the next half an hour. But when we can print our pictures or put words to them or find a way to share them in a meaningful way and to be able to come back to those pictures, then your pictures are going to live on and on. They'll really mean something to you as you go on. And that's kind of back to your life story in photos and how amazing it is. When I was like in 8th grade, I told my dad, I want to take pictures. This is what I love. And everything was filmed. I was like, do you know how expensive it is to just take all these random pictures and have them developed and all of that kind of thing? And you guys have this great tool of being able to do it digitally. And if you start thinking now, like how you can put those things together, you can have this great record to be able to come back to and share with people that are meaningful to you. So don't be afraid to be a little weird if you want, and just be yourself with what you're doing. Any questions so far, you guys? You're awfully quiet. Okay. So the fourth mistake.
Have any of you guys taken a photography class, like at school or anything like that? Yeah. Does your school have a photo class?
Well, yeah, we do, but I'm actually in the book class right now.
Okay, cool.
Working with that.
Yeah, that's what I did years ago. And my school didn't have photo class, but I took this class through the community education program. And it was like once a week in the evenings at some other high school. I think it was like an East High School or something. And I went to Skyline. But it was just like a weekly night class. And that was actually really fun, just way to learn about photography because our class at the school didn't have that in my school. So, you know, if you guys could find something like that, if you're
I have a request. While this is loading up, I think I would like you to tell us about some of the jobs you've worked. Did you do this already? Some of the stuff. So I'm her sister, and I've been lucky enough to go on some of the shoots with her and assist. And so I just think they'd find it interesting to just kind of tell them a little bit like what a photo shoot is like, or like some of the ones that you've worked on for different companies or different things like that.
Well, first, I mean, I want to hear towards the audience, but do you guys, do any of you think you want to do photography as a profession, or is it like a fun hobby, or are you just like seeing if you like it enough that maybe you could do it, make money one day? Anyone have any thoughts? Do you guys just want to learn more, or yeah?
I think it's more like a hobby for me, but I think it'd be something like just to do on the side of the road to like make money.
Yeah. It is great, it's flexible, like Crystalyn was saying with her family, she does family photos, so she can take on like, if she doesn't want to work, she doesn't have to, but if she wants to take on a job, then she can. So it is a good flexible career for sure. I mean, I'll tell you a little bit about some of the jobs I have done. So I live in New York, and so I do more of these like still life product shots that you were seeing. So some ones that I have worked for, I don't know what is exciting to you.
Well, they might like the American Girl stuff.
Yeah, I did a cookbook for American Girl with William Sonoma, and so it was like, geared towards girls like 8 to 14, and a cookbook, so like fun recipes that kids could make, and we had like really fun parties. It was like 4 party themes with different recipes. So there was like, we have 3 books, but there's like a beach party where we had like a tent, and then like a picnic party, like a 4th of July barbecue, and so I do photography, but I also do prop styling. So that is, with these parties, I was in charge of like setting up the whole thing. So there's a food stylist who makes all the food, she makes the recipes. There's a photographer who does all the lighting. And then there's a stylist, prop stylist, me, who sets up all the stuff. So that's more of like composition and having to like arrange things. So, if there's a shot of like some watermelon on a plate, I'm one who gets the plate and like the table, and for these big party scenes, I'd like set up a whole birthday party or set up this like cookie decorating party. So that was like very fun and creative and just a cool project.
Can I say something, Veronica?
Yeah.
I think something that was interesting for me as somebody who I'm not really a photographer other than, using my phone, is just to realize how much goes into these photos. When you see something on Instagram or online or something, you say, oh, wow, that photo looks so good. And then to go to one of these photo shoots, you see, there's 20 people there making sure it looks good. There's, this person who moves that plate and this person who moves that piece of lettuce. So, whatever it is. So it's just interesting to realize, it's natural that my photo is not going to look that good when there's not 20 people making my photo look that good, So it's just kind of interesting to realize.
So don't compare your work
About the comparison thing.
because they have like a whole team of professionals and then they're all redone. So
And even like the fashion stuff, if it is like people like models and stuff like that, they're going to have a stylist who does the clothes for the person and somebody who does their hair and somebody who's making sure the lighting's right, and then the retouching team afterwards, and there's just so much that goes into any photograph that you see.
Any questions or? Well, we'll resume now that our computer's back.
The screen turned off.
Oh,
I think maybe press the button on press the laptop button. That fix it? The screen might have gone dead because it was, here, I'll come.
So I would say these things we're just talking about, everyone's learning, you can't compare yourself to someone else who's been doing it longer or has a different set of skills or teamwork with them or whatever it may be. And mistakes are just part of the process. With creativity, how many of you guys do like any other creative hobbies or skills? Anybody? Music? Art?
I'm like obsessed with sewing.
Sewing? Cool. Somebody else? Yeah.
I do theater.
Theater? Awesome. Violin, okay. Yeah. You're a dancer? Okay. Lots of creative people. Piano. So when you guys are doing any of these other creative activities, what happened if you weren't willing to mess up? Yeah. Yeah, you never get better, you never even do it. Creativity, you have to be totally willing to mess up, yeah.
You get frustrated and you want to quit.
Yeah. Sometimes I struggle because, I have photos I wanted in my head, like I want to make these photos and they don't turn out quite what I pictured. But if you're going to be creative, if you're totally willing to just try new things and practice, even if it's not quite where you want it to be yet, that's part of the process. So the same thing with photography is, if you keep taking more and more photos, there's this quote by Henry Cartier-Bresson, who's this great French photographer. And he said, your first 10,000 photos are your worst. And it's also, have you guys heard about that thing where you need 10,000 hours to perfect something or practice a lot? So before you're like an expert at something, they say you have to do 10,000 hours. So, if you're going to be practicing a lot, you need to have your camera with you, which is great because you have your phones. But you need to take pictures constantly so you can get to that number of just keep, it doesn't matter if they're bad, just keep taking, and you never know what could happen because sometimes the mistakes are a happy accident to be something really great that you actually love. And the more you practice, the more you learn certain things that just will help you get to where you want to be. And you can't really learn those things without practicing. So I would just say to just, find what you love and keep trying and experimenting. And we have this one quote that I will share with you. Okay, so this is kind of long, but I was going to read it. Or does somebody else want to read it? Anybody? You want to? You're like about to say something? No? Okay, so this is a good quote about creativity and starting out and practicing. Nobody tells this to people who are beginners. I wish someone told me. All of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste, but there is this gap. for the first couple of years you make stuff, it's just not that good. It's trying to be good, it has potential, but it's not. But your taste, the thing that got you into the game, is still killer, and your taste is why your work disappoints you. A lot of people never get past this phase, they quit. Most people I know who do interesting creative work went through years of this. We know our work doesn't have the special thing we want it to have. We all go through this. And if you're just starting out and are still in this phase, you gotta know it's normal, and the most important thing you can do is do a lot of work. Put yourself on a deadline so every week you will finish one story. It's only by going through the volume of work that you will close that gap, and your work will look as good as your ambitions. It's gonna take a while, it's normal to take a while. You just have to fight your way through. So I want you to realize that even if you have a vision in your head of what you want your work to look like, the way to get there is just to keep working and practicing and, take the photo class, look up tutorials online, practice what you like and see what you don't like, and just keep taking photos. So that's the beginning of that quote, and then, just practice. That's it. Anyone have any more questions or thoughts or just like things you want to say about your own photography?
Okay, so he said your first 10,000 photos are your worst. So if you took 10,000, like a few really good ones before you even got to the 10,000 mark, then could that still be true? Like people agree that your photos are
Well, I don't think that's like some crucial fact, but I think it's just saying that the more you practice, the better you're gonna get. So even if your photos are super amazing in the beginning, it'll get even better the more you learn and practice. And you might get a few that are like, wow, that's the best that I've seen, just like randomly, but in general, the more you learn and grow, then it's gonna get better and better. Anyone have any thoughts about that?
I just want to say it's like he's not like marking it, like
Yeah.
that's awful. It's just saying that once you hit that point, that afterwards it's gonna be so much better and that was good pictures behind the scenes.
Yeah, like more often. Because I remember when I was starting out, I would take a ton of photos. Like, let's say I was taking like some portraits, I would take so many and get like a few good ones. But now, as I practice, I have to take fewer photos to get the good ones. You know what I mean? So I think it's just the more you practice and the more photos you take, the more likely you'll be